It's time for GGSP. I'm Rad.
I'm Will.
And I'm Jem. Today on the show, we think outside the blocks in our review of the colourful chaos that is the LEGO Movie 2 video game.
Another fine job, Sheriff.
Plus, we'll take a trip to WA for the Perth Games Festival. Every time!
Jem, how do you get your hair to change colour like that?
Oh, it's easy. Watch.
Whoa!
Hopefully, Batman will be able to help us.
Yes, it's time to dive back into the bricktastic world of LEGO with developers TT Fusion giving us their take on the latest LEGO cinematic installment.
The LEGO Movie 2 video game is based on the film, but doesn't entirely travel along the same plotline. Picking up 5 years after the Duplocalypse, we join Emmett, Wildstyle, and friends as they get to grips with their new wasteland. It doesn't take long for adventure to find them, however, as a mysterious figure whisks some of the gang away, forcing Emmett and Wildstyle on a chase across the galaxy.
We both knew that we would make it our mission.
Across the galaxy, indeed. Whilst previous LEGO games had you jumping into a hub world and then levels and chapters, the LEGO Movie 2 favours entirely open world hubs, with a central plot mission and a few side stops along the way. It often feels very similar to Super Mario Odyssey. There's even a certain number of purple bricks needed to progress to the next hub world, similar to Mario's moon system.
Yeah, this game makes some real shifts to the established LEGO format. It all feels a little bit more gamey. There's enemies that require different tactics to defeat, like the soft bellies that require a ground pound to flip over. There's also super moves that unleash a volley of damage, with animations unique to each character. But I'm not sure the new combat system really worked. With the intentionally stilted animation style and the overall slow movement, fights came off a little clunky.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it either. That kind of slow, empty battling also found its way into the boss battles. Having to dodge massive blows from the Duplocalypse baddies can become tedious when Emmett moves at the speed of nothing. The boss battles also make use of the franchise's weirdly paceless parkour mechanic, and I really want that to go away. The boss battles did make use of some of the new additional elements in the game, however.
Our plastic mates now have utility gadgets!
Yeah, take that, Batman! Although he's in the game, so I'm sure he's totally fine with it.
Rather than swapping out characters to use certain abilities, you're given items to help solve your problems. From danger fists to smash through rock faces, to a magic wand to paint your problems away. And though throwing Metalbeard's head at a puzzle to solve it is pretty cool, I do miss the character-specific abilities from the previous games. Giving everyone god-tier abilities softens the whole puzzle-solving aspect, and I really miss that.
Well, you're gonna have to miss building stuff too, because this game won't let you. Well, it kind of does, but just not in the same kind of way.
Was that really necessary?
Pulling from the film's master builder concept, you will now have the ability to construct constructions on the fly. Throughout the game, you'll be given instructions on how to build objects, bounce pads to reach high ledges, power generators to jumpstart an alarm clock, and a sprinkler to, well, sprinkle. All these objects will be used in tandem to solve puzzles and unlock collectibles.
And in order to build them, you'll have to resort to the age-old smash and collect, building up the right amount of coloured bricks to craft the thricycle you desire. I quite enjoyed using the scanning goggles to absorb and learn about new objects in the environment too. Fairly similar to LEGO Worlds, there's something so addictive about landing in a new hub and just scanning everything in sight. Oh, give me that cactus. Is that a slightly smaller cactus? Yes, please.
Madly addictive, but I can't help but feel it's all a little shallow. Whilst you can build to solve problems, there's never really cause to create and play with the new objects you've acquired. For example, there's side missions to paint with your magic wand, but you'll rarely be able to utilize your wand outside of that. It just felt like quite a few half-baked ideas thrown into a video game. A few good steps towards a fresh installment in the LEGO franchise, but a few steps back as well. I'm giving the LEGO Movie 2 video game a 2.5 out of 5.
I have to agree. I was starting to feel that stale grip of LEGO games with last year's releases, LEGO Incredibles and DC Supervillains. And this just didn't quite sell me on that return to the LEGO game heart. So I'm also giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens. Now that or this.
Don't move. The LEGO will get you.
Hey!
Somebody, help! Good spawning, Australia! Welcome to The Scoop with me, Darren! Oh, and Rad's here too.
Oh, just happy to be here, Darren.
Who wouldn't be? Now, let's get this Scoop party started. First up, it's a new segment, Darren's Inside Scoop. Over the last few weeks, the rumour mill has been abuzz with speculation that some Xbox games could soon be available on the Nintendo Switch. Apparently, this could come in the form of Microsoft games ported to the Switch, perhaps utilising Microsoft's upcoming game streaming service.
This news is huge if true, Darren. It would be so cool to see more games freed from the shackles of console exclusivity.
You heard it here first.
Well, actually, I heard it a little while ago.
Moving on. Who'da thunk that Stardew Valley could be competitive? A Stardew Valley tournament was recently live-streamed in celebration of the game's 3rd anniversary. 10 teams of 4 farm and friends battled it out over 6 hours to compete for various in-game achievements, like earning money and completing community centre bundles, as well as IRL prize money.
Money coming in from the east, now getting north.
What do you think about this, Ran?
Well, you know, it sounds like some seed sowing fun. And it seems like a nice way to celebrate 3 years of the game too. Of course, as Stardew fans will know, year 3 is an important year.
Affirmative. What about you, Boatmeal? Do you think Stardew Valley could be the next esports phenomenon? What's that? You really dig the idea? Oh, good one, Boatmeal. Now to reflect on some big Pokemon news. It has, of course, now been confirmed that Pokemon Sword and Shield will be the next main RPG adventure in the series, heralding the arrival of Generation 8 later this year. The games will be set in what's known as the Galar region and will introduce new starter Pokemon, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. Which one strikes your fancy, Rad?
Well, you know, I think Grookey looks like my kind of Pokemon. And you know, Darren, between this news and the latest Detective Pikachu trailer, I'd say it seems like a great time to be a Pokemon fan.
I do agree, but I wonder when they will run out of names for new Pokemon. How do they come up with them? Now, to look back on one more piece of news, did you hear that the untitled Goose Game has been delayed? The indie game about a pesky goose was due out in early 2019, but we now may not get to engage in goosey tomfoolery until later in the year.
Goosey tomfoolery, you say? Well, that sounds to me like a certain GGSP alumnus we all know, right?
Affirmative. So I suppose we'll have to wait a little longer to take a gander at that game, won't we? Now it's time for the Extra Scoop! Take it away, Rad.
Thanks, Darren. This week, I was impressed by some Planet Coaster creativity. A player known as Honorith built a scale model of Hogwarts in Planet Coaster, complete with the Chamber of Secrets. That's brilliant.
Oh, indeed, so magical. Thank you, Rad. And thank you, my adoring, adulating audience. Until next week, scoop you later. Don't forget to wave, Rad. Wave. They love me.
Australia is home to some really talented games developers, but unfortunately, with big international games taking up a lot of the headlines, it can be difficult for our local games to get any attention. That's why events like the Perth Games Festival are so important. Let's take a look. To find out a bit more about this game-tastic event, I'm having a chat with the festival director, John. So what is the Perth Game Festival and what is it about?
The Perth Games Festival is an opportunity for the developers of Perth to come together with each other and actually hang out with the greater community of Western Australia.
How would you describe the games industry in WA?
It's quite small at the moment. We've got a few small studios, a lot of excellent talent here, and it's a lot of people dedicated to just making cool things.
I can see some really cool games around. Let's check them out. Could you tell us a little bit about your game?
So Teleblast is a local multiplayer game where you blow up your friends with teleporters.
I'm sure they had it coming. Why do you think it's important for events like the Perth Games Festival to be held?
Particularly in Perth, it's good to get the message out that we have really good game developers here and we produce some really cool stuff.
Could you tell us a bit about Coder Dojo and why you're here today at the Perth Games Festival?
Sure. So Coder Dojo is an international movement of computer coding clubs for kids. And today we're here with our Western Australian Coder Dojo regional group, and we're showing games made by young people all over Western Australia.
Why do you think it's so important for events like these to be taking place in Australia?
Well, kids really love having their game shown and played by members of the public. So it's kind of like an elevated experience for them to have maybe their first game on display.
So what's the response been like from, attendees and developers?
The developers are all really happy to be here. The developers just like, oh man, we're out in front of people. We've got so many people coming by. We're really enjoying it.
In terms of people that you have attending the event, do you find they're mostly gamers, or do you have people wander in who maybe aren't as familiar with the gaming scene?
It's actually both. We put up massive signs outside and we just get people wandering in going, it's a free event and I'm curious about what's going on. But we also get a lot of people who go, oh, we can go see what's new this year. And we have so many repeat people coming back year after year. It's actually really heartwarming.
There are a lot of spawnlings here today, so I think I better see what they think of the festival. So why are you here today at the Perth Game Festival?
I'm here because I like to play games and I play Minecraft all the time on Sundays.
What's your favourite part of the whole event?
Probably all the games you get to play and, yeah, all the stuff you get to do on the games.
So why have you guys come to the Perth Games Festival today?
Well, our dad was here. He had a game called Blocky Roll, and so we decided to come there, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
Do you think it's cool that we have big events like the Perth Games Festival?
And I think we should have more.
I think there should be more than there are right now.
I agree. How do you hope to see the Perth Game Festival grow as it continues on throughout the years?
I'd like it to grow a little in size. We've got a few more developers out there who don't always manage to get in. And I really want to get back to being able to bring guests over. A big part of WA is that we don't tend to get many people, like yourself, over in WA. So it's really great you've came over. But it's a long way, right? So hopefully next year we'll be able to get some other people from outside WA to come and tell us about how they make video games. And we've had a lot of people encouraged about that in the past, and hopefully we'll see it again in the future.
Support from the local community is so important to growing the Australian games industry. And a healthy Aussie scene means more homegrown games getting made. Who doesn't want to play more games? I'm going to go play a few more now.
Okie dokie. How are we doing, Will? Are you all settled in and ready to go?
You bet I am.
Well, don't get too comfy. You have to be on your toes to make it in the wild west of questions and answers. That is, Ask SP.
Oh, okay. So I'll be slightly less comfy. Yeah, okay. This?
A little bit more? Yeah, that's great. All right, so first up, let's take a look at this video question from Christopher. Can you turn like that?
I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Hi, GGSP. I have two questions for you. One, is Just Shapes and Beats coming out on iOS and Android? 2, when will you do a review on Ultimate Chicken Horse? Bye. P.S. New hosts do these.
Oh, wow, a solo emoticon performance. Just let me do a few quick warm-ups. Okay, I'm ready.
Wow, you're a true emoticon natural, Will. And thanks for your video, Christopher. Now, to the question of whether part rhythm game, part bullet hell Just Shapes and Beats will come out on mobile. Well, I haven't heard anything about this. And actually, I wonder if it would translate well to mobile. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, in a game that needs precision like this, having to use a touchscreen might mean you end up obscuring things with your finger.
Oh, unless they reimagined the controls a bit. Now, look, never say never.
I never do. Wait, I just did, and you did. Twice. Anyway, if you're a fan of Just Shapes and Beats, a game you might like that is currently available on mobile is Geometry Dash.
As for when we might do a review of Ultimate Chicken Horse, well, the game came out 3 years ago now, so I'm not sure we will. Although there have been some updates since then, and it's on more platforms now, so we'll have to think about that.
It does look like a fun party game with some level building strategy added in. It might be fun.
True, and I do love fun. Maybe we should live stream it. Oh, hey, did you know that Ultimate Chicken Horse actually started as a game jam game?
Did it? Well, cool. Pump up the jam.
And what are you doing?
Oh, I'm pumping up the jam.
Oh, okay, well, good for you! Now let's look at another question-rooney. And this one is from Dante Will Win in Pallettown, ACT. Are they pumped, the jams?
So pumped.
Hello. I would like to ask two things. 1, do you have any tips on how to shiny hunt in Pokemon Let's Go? 2, when is the Harry Potter AR game coming out? Thanks, peace out. Thanks, Dante Will Win. If you're after tips on how to hunt for shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Let's Go, well, if you catch enough of the same species of Pokemon, you'll find yourself with increased chances of finding a shiny version. The more you catch, up to a point, the better the odds. This is also known as using catch combos.
But be wary that your catch combo chain will be broken if you catch a different species of Pokemon, if a Pokemon runs away during a fight, or if you save and exit your game, so keep that in mind.
You can also use this combo method in conjunction with items like lures. And of course, using a shiny charm boosts your chances even further. The shiny charm can be obtained in Celadon City after completing the initial Pokedex.
Now to the matter of when the Harry Potter AR or augmented reality game is coming out. Known as Wizards Unite, this game is said to be out this year. The last trailer I saw simply said coming 2019, but I also heard it's likely to be released during the Northern Hemisphere summer, which means winter here in Oz.
Can't wait to go to Hogwarts. All right, time for our next question, and this one is from Boatmeal's assistant in Boatmeal Land? Oh, that sounds amazing.
Hi GGSP, Boatmeal asked me to ask you some questions. 1, will you guys be reviewing Hollow Knight Silksong when it comes out? 2, can you suggest some good Metroidvanias that are out on Xbox? Will, do these. Thanks, Boatmeal's assistant. P.S. Will, welcome to the team. Oh, thanks for the warm welcome, Boatmeal's assistant.
You know, the welcome is so warm because Boatmeal is warm. But I can't believe that my beloved dog, the Sausage Prince Custard Bun, Boatmeal, has an assistant. I thought that was my job. Well, good on him, I suppose.
He is a very good boy. Now to whether we'll review Hollow Knight Silksong, I'd say it's a strong possibility. I mean, the original Hollow Knight was reviewed on the show back in 2017, but I don't think there's an official release date for Silksong yet. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
Indeedy. As for some good Metroidvania games for Xbox, well, why don't we see what old mate Darren has to suggest on the telephone?
Greetings, you've reached Darren.
Hey Darren, hope you're well. We have a Spawnling question for you, but before that, did you know that Boatmeal has an assistant?
Oh, affirmative. My many assistants and Boatmeal's assistant liaised at the latest assistants convention. And from what I hear, there have been some very interesting developments in the field of coffee retrieval.
Fascinating.
Wait, dogs shouldn't drink coffee. Anyway, can you tell us some good Metroidvania-style games for Xbox?
Oh, aside from Hollow Knight, some Metroidvania, or at least Metroidvania-esque titles I'd recommend include Guacamelee 1 and 2, The Lofty Adventures of Owlboy, or perhaps Yoku's Island Express, which creatively blends Metroidvania elements with puzzles and pinball. You may also dig SteamWorld Dig. And a personal favourite of mine with an enchanting world and stirring soundtrack, Ori and the Blind Forest. Its sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, is due out later this year, I believe. I can't wait. That Ori really warms my plutonium core.
Isn't that dangerous? Well, anyway, thanks Darren. Some great suggestions there.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now I'd better go. Boatmeal and I have a production meeting.
Oh, give him a belly rub from me. Bye, Darren.
Bye, Darren.
So long.
And that's all we have time for today. If you have a question you'd like to ask us, go here and send it in. And of course, video questions we feature on the show will receive a GGSP pin. Now, Will, you have an adorable puppy at home by the name of Wilson, son of Will. Does he have an assistant too?
No, not yet. But maybe one day he could intern with Boatmeal.
Oh, that'd be great. Although I guess you'd have to speak to his assistant about that. Why do all
the dogs and robots around here get personal assistants, but none of the human hosts do.
Well, you don't need to expel radioactive waste or have someone scoop up your poop off the footpath.
Too much information, Darren, too much.
Next week on GGSP, we get back in the groove with the totally weird platforming duo, Toe Jam and Earl.
Maybe that's all they need.
And if you enjoyed our LEGO Movie 2 video game review, then sit tight because we're going to give you a look at the history of LEGO video games, which has quite a few surprises.
Don't forget to catch up on our exclusive online videos, like our crash-tastic Let's Play of Trials Rising's Tandem Mode.
Not those spinning bikes again.
Don't speak.
Until next time, be nice, have fun, and keep gaming. Rat out.
Will out.
Gem out.
Darren out.